Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, and this time we are going to be talking about the One Piece film Strong World. Now, I do have a little bit to read to you guys just to make sure I get the details correct on why you should go see this and why this month is very special for One Piece. So, One Piece will air its 1000th episode November 20th on Funimation. So to celebrate this milestone, Toei Animation and Fathom events will present One Piece film Strong World as a special two-night, let me repeat that, only 2 nights, dos, theatrical event on November 7th, dubbed, and on November 9th, subbed. So let me repeat that again. On November 7th, you can see the movie dubbed in select theaters near you, and on November 9th, you can see the movie subbed. And this is all going to be in US theaters. So this will be the first ever US theatrical release for the 10th movie in the franchise. Moviegoers will also experience the US premiere of the One Piece Mugiwara Chase featurette. So, if you want the chance to be a part of a historical event in the One Piece franchise, especially if you're a big fan, then I would take the time to figure out where there's a showing near you and just to go see a really fun movie. So, without giving any spoilers, I have to say that I was really impressed by this movie in a lot of ways, and I had a lot of fun. I am very new to the One Piece franchise, as in, like, I've only seen 100 episodes or so, which is so crazy to think that the series is so long that you're still considered new after 100 episodes. That's insane to me. But even without having the knowledge of, like, a lot of the other episodes that are in the series, I was still able to enjoy the movie. I was, more importantly, able to still understand what was going on. And I've gotten a feel for characters that I'll see later down the line that I'm now looking forward to getting to in the series. And One Piece fans will know that something that's unique to this franchise is the fashion and the different outfits that the crew gets to wear for different events and different special episodes and things like that. And they don't skip out on this movie either. So if you're a One Piece fashionista, or you just really enjoy the fashion and the designs, you are definitely going to love the designs in this movie. So to give a quick synopsis on the movie, this movie is about Luffy trying to get back his navigator Nami from the pirate Shiki the Golden Lion. Shiki the Golden Lion is fresh out of jail, just escaped the Impel Down prison, and as he's navigating the seas, he sees that, now Nami's got some skills. And he wants someone like that as a part of his team. So he just snatches her up right out of the Straw Hats and brings her into the crew, whether Nami likes it or not. So Luffy's mission in this movie is not only to get Nami back, but to also help the people that he meets along the way who are under Shiki's oppressive rule. Now, this part isn't a spoiler, which I will be getting to, but I do have to mention this because it just immediately made me rewind, which I was able to do. You guys won't be able to do in theaters. But, so they introduce Shiki. They're like, Shiki, the Golden Lion, one of the most fierce pirates to sail the seas. And they're talking about how he's in the prison Impel Down and how he was able to escape. And he was so determined to leave the prison that he actually cut off his own legs. And you see later on, like a few seconds later, that he actually attached swords where his, like, basically from the knee down, where his calves and stuff used to be. And like, oh, this man's crazy. This man is crazy and he is determined. Though that's a scary combination for a villain. So if that doesn't tell you anything about Shiki, then you're gonna enjoy this film. But I know some people are gonna be like, Jamie, I kind of want to know a little bit more about the movie. Can you give me some spoilers? I can. So this is your spoiler warning. I've given you all the essential information that you need to go and watch this movie, hopefully at a theater near you on November 7th or November 9th. And now we're going to get into some of my favorite parts of the movie. So, as I mentioned just a moment ago, we did get a very surprising introduction to Shiki the Golden Lion, a very fierce pirate who was recently locked up in the Impel Down prison, and he manages to escape, and on his way out he makes sure that the keepers of the prison know just how much he cares for them, I guess. So he just completely terrorizes all the Marines that were guarding that prison on his way out, you know, just making a grand exit, if you will. A few moments later, we cut to Luffy running around in this really strange looking place where there are a bunch of floating islands with, it seems like, different ecosystems and slightly different environments. And most importantly, very large, like, mutated animals and insects. If it wasn't bad enough with the animals, they have bugs too, guys. And so Luffy is running away from a whole gang of them. And it's insanity. It's insanity. But you know it's bad when Luffy, you know, he's like, you know what? I'm going to stand my ground. And he throws a gum pistol at this combination between a bear and a sloth, I think. And the bear sloth actually dodges it. I'm like, ooh, Luffy. Luffy, no. So he dodges it. Luffy's like, dang, these animals are tough. And I'm like, yeah, they are tough. And I think the bear sloth actually hits him too. But don't worry. A gum giant pistol was able to take the bear sloth out. So Luffy doesn't get taken out at the beginning of the movie. No way. Not Luffy. But that was just insane to see that, like, these animals really do pose a threat. Like, they aren't the main bad guys of this, but they are definitely contenders. We then get to see some of the other Straw Hats that will be featured in this movie, such as Frankie, Nico Robin, Brook, Sanji, Usopp Chopper, Zoro, and Nami. I did want to mention that because I know the roster does change from season to season, especially later on. I haven't gotten far enough to meet Frankie or Brook and have like an official introduction, but now I'm very much so looking forward to getting to know them in the series because they were a lot of fun in this movie. So as we're ending on the last character introduction, which is Nami, we get to a scene where Nami is swimming in a pool in what seems like a somewhat normal situation, you know, just girl going out for a swim. But it turns out that this is actually a part of her prison, which, if I might add, not a bad place to be imprisoned, but it's a part of her prison where Shiki is keeping her for the moment. So this story does start in the middle, you know, and then as we kind of understand what's going on, we get some of the background information. But before that, I do have to mention when Shiki approaches Nami and you see their first interactions on screen. Oh, it's so hilarious. I was taken aback. I was confused. I was delighted. I could not remove my eyes from the screen. Basically, Shiki comes out with Dr. Indigo and Scarlet, which is this. Dr. Indigo is a scientist that's also dressed as a clown, and Scarlet is basically just this really big gorilla. So all three of them come out and just perform a dance number out of nowhere. They're just like, you know, beginning of the movie, we need to give people something to keep them awake. This is it. And they just come out with this dance number and performed quite well, I might add. Nami wasn't feeling it though, and I can't blame her, you know, they're against her will, but under different circumstances, I think Nami would have enjoyed it too. So after Shiki works out those happy feet, he does stop and talk to Nami and say, hey, you know, see, you're swimming. You must be adjusting, like things aren't so bad. You should officially join my crew now. Nami's like, nah, not going for it. And after a little bit of back and forth, we do get that backstory where we finally go to the beginning of the story, which is 1 week earlier than the current events that we were watching at the beginning of the movie. And we see that Nami, Luffy, and the rest of the crew are talking about what's happening in the East Blue, and it looks like islands are just getting completely wiped off the map, and they don't know what's going on. So, of course, most of the crew being from the East Blue, they're like, we need to do something. Let's put our adventure on pause, go back to the East Blue to make sure our families are okay, and see if there's anything that we can do. And just as they are getting into those details, Nami senses a change in the pressure where it's actually getting lower. So she knows that a cyclone is coming and it's going to be arriving very quickly. So she tells Luffy to turn to the left. And as they're doing that, they also come across Shiki, which at this point in the story was for the first time. And Shiki has this huge ship that looks like it's sitting on top of a big island, basically. So part of Shiki's power, because he also has eaten a devil fruit, is that he can make things float, and he can also make himself float, but he can't make other people float. So of course, Luffy, being the kind of naive person that he is, just tries to flag Shiki down, like, hey, and now he's like, okay, well, I guess we're doing this. So Shiki sends down a dial so that he can talk with them, and Nami says, hey, there's a cyclone coming. You need to turn to port, I believe she says, which is to the left. And so Shiki gets the message, and he asks his own navigators, like, is this true? Is there a cyclone coming? Because it doesn't look like there's any kind of storm. I'm like, no, I don't know what she's talking about. We're all good. And then literally seconds later, the storm shows up. And one thing that I find interesting about Shiki's character is just for one thing, his presence, because he seems so much larger than life. Of course, he is a big dude, so that does help with his stature and all. But just his personality, his confidence, he's like, okay, my navigator said this, so obviously they must be correct. And then there are moments where I'm just like, what is this dude on? He's insane. Because when the storm is coming, there are these dark clouds that appear in the sky. He goes, an afro? Which is so rare. I didn't even catch it the first time that I watched it that he said that. And the second time, I'm like, wait, what? So that was kind of funny. And also, earlier on when Scarlet was not officially introduced, but we do see Scarlet for the first time on screen, there's like a little bit of an exchange between Shiki, Dr. Indigo, and Scarlet. And at some point, actually this happens multiple times in the film, Shiki looks at Scarlet, he's like, Grandma? And so it's like, Indigo repeatedly asks him, like, is your family made of, like, gorillas or something? Like, why do you keep doing this? And I don't know. It's just a quirky little thing about him, I guess. But moving back to the storm, Shiki sees the storm is coming, so he directs a person guiding the ship to turn to port, and then executes the lead navigator, as you do when they're incorrect. And then he actually goes to greet the Straw Hats himself and says, thank you for helping me out, because that would have been bad if we had gone into that storm. Which one of you is the one that made that message? So Nami's like, yeah, that was me. It's no problem, just helping out, I guess. And at first, Shiki's trying to be all buddy-buddy, like, oh, you guys talking about the East Blue? Yeah, it's like some terrible things happening there. I can help you guys get there if you want. I have the power to make things float. You could get there really quick and then, like, come right back. And they're like, oh, that would be awesome. And just after they make those very interesting travel plans, Shiki quickly kidnaps Nami. Like, once they get to his main set of, like, floating islands, which is called Merville, that's when the kidnapping happens. And then he scatters the rest of the Straw Hats to various different islands that make up Merville, so they have to try and find their way back to each other and find their way back to the Sunny. Now, something that I really liked about this movie, and One Piece, the anime just does a great job of this in general, so it was nice to see this continue in the movie, is the use of perspective. I think that's something that not very many anime, especially anime that are coming out now, do, is use a lot of different, like, extreme perspectives, and also just gives you a chance to absorb the environment, but also see how the character moves through that environment, navigates that environment, and their size and scale compared to other things. And I think this movie in particular, Strong World, really accentuates that, because there are these huge, like, humongous animals and insects that are dangerous to everyone in the crew. And so just having that sense of scale really helps kind of, like, amplify the feeling of danger and, oh, like, something bad could actually happen here. Which I think is, like, probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, actually. It's just that that accomplishment and the way that like that design brings me into the story even more. So later on in the movie, we cut back to Nami hanging out in this pool prison, and Shiki brings out this experiment, which is another animal that's been exposed to the IQ plant, which will be further explained in the movie. But just to give you a short explanation, this IQ plant is able to mutate animals, and it actually makes them, in more extreme doses, it makes them aggressive. So they can be basically turned into weapons that I think you're able to actually like train and control, which makes it even more dangerous, to be honest with you. But this animal that's brought out has not been like exposed to the IQ multiple times, but has been mutated. So I think it's a cross between a duck, a rooster, and a peacock, which is very the design for this character is eventually called Billy, is like pretty cute. It's pretty cute. Like you wouldn't think that combination would work out, but it works very well. But yeah, Billy's first introduction, they bring him out in the cage. They're like, oh, look what we were able to make. We made a new creature. Chiki's checking it out. So they open up the cage, and Billy just comes out, and he shocks all of them with this like thunder shock, I guess, if you want to refer to Pokemon. Like he does his best Pikachu impression and just shocks the ever like living heck out of Shiki, Dr. Indigo, and Scarlet, and then kind of like runs over to Nami. It was like a little I don't know, like I guess he already could feel that something good about her. But Nami's relationship with Billy is, and just with the rest of the Straw Hats as well, as we'll see later on in the movie, or as you'll see later on in the movie, is so freaking adorable, and I love it. Billy, he seems like, and in some ways is kind of like a little scaredy cat bird, but his confidence grows throughout the movie, and you see him become more and more dependable and more connected with the Straw Hats, which was so awesome to see. And I'm so glad that Billy was actually included in this movie, because he adds like not only a little bit of levity just with like his goofiness, but it also it's endearing in a way. It adds another character that really understands the Straw Hats, and because of that is able to follow their cause to who knows what ends. But my absolute favorite moment with Billy, and there are quite a few, but my favorite one is one of his, one of the first reactions, or one of the first interactions that he has with Nami, where he is able to take Nami through this pool grate, and they're able to escape their pool prison, if momentarily. And Nami is actually not drowned, but on the way to drowning. So Billy like pulls her out of the water, and it just lays her down on the ground and is expecting her to pop up, but nothing happens. So Billy's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like, what do I do? So Billy just starts slapping Nami back and forth over and over again. And Nami eventually like wakes up and punches Billy. She's like, hey, that freaking hurts. And One Piece just does those like moments, those like from serious to like really funny moments so well, and I absolutely love it. It was great. So after Nami is able to escape Shiki's prison, she actually, it doesn't take her and Billy very long to find the Straw Hats, first meeting with Luffy and meeting at the Sunny, and then they eventually go to this village that's in one of the islands on Merville, where they're able to meet the rest of the crew. Except for Frankie, Nico Robin, and Brooke, I believe. They meet up with the crew later on in the movie. So they're able to spend a couple days in the village with the family of Xiao, which is a little girl that Zoro and Chopper happen to meet. And she's picking up any IQ plant that she can find, because Shiki's hoarding all of them so that he can conduct his experiments, or so that Dr. Indigo can conduct his experiments. And Xiao needs these plants to help her grandmother to create a medicine for Daft Green, which you'll also see later on in the movie. But it's basically this illness where it petrifies people pretty much. Which, oh my gosh, it's a lot of craziness, but I want to explain everything because I want you guys to see. But yeah, they're staying with Xiao, and it doesn't take too long before Shiki finds Nami once again, because he has spies planted all throughout the village. So Luffy, Usopp, Chopper, Sanji, and Zoro had this standoff between Shiki, and it does not go in their favor, which, that would make the movie a little bit too quick. So it was good to see them kind of get their feet wet and understand a little bit more about Shiki's battle style. And that's something else I really enjoy about him is, I think I mentioned this earlier, just once again, his confidence and almost cockiness. He doesn't really use his hands in the fight until he absolutely has to. And he's like, oh, maybe use my hands. Congratulations. It's not going to get any easier, though. And they unfortunately get beat, and they actually get put into this big, like, dirt monument where they're just frozen in this dirt and basically put on display in, like, the worst way possible. Just like, yeah, these guys lost. These guys definitely lost. And because of that, Nami ends up making a deal with Shiki where she will go with him in exchange for letting the crew live and to protect the islands of the East Blue. But with the missing 3 party members of Frankie, Nico Robin, and Brooke, they are actually able to ride around on one of Frankie's designs, which he calls the Crawley Davidson, which is just genius, and I love that. And I also really like the design for it. It's really interesting, and like, I need to learn more about Frankie because I'm like, how is he able to do that? But they're able to meet in this bar where, like, a lot of Shiki's pirates meet up and drink and have fun, I guess. And they're able to get some intel from there. And then they're able to find the Straw Hat stuck in this dirt monument. And something that I actually really like, not just about Frankie, but about this show in general, is the honesty. Because I feel like a lot of anime, I won't say a lot, but it's not often that you'll get characters, especially not characters that were present during the fight, to admit, like, oh, you got beat by this person, and they kind of had a point when they were saying they were better than you. And that's basically what Frankie says. And I thought it was funny, but I'm also like, you know what? That he kind of needed to hear that, because otherwise he would just think that he lost because of reasons X, Y, and Z instead of just, he just purely got beat. And I think because of that, Luffy's actually able to get some motivation to get serious in fights, which everybody who watches anime know. Once people get serious, it gets really intense, really fun, and just super dynamic. So I was glad that Luffy kind of got that fire lit under him. So Frankie, Nico Robin, and Brooke get the crew out of the dirt, get themselves together, and they get into the Sunny to head to Shiki's ship, which is heading towards the East Blue. And once they arrive onto Shiki's kind of like ship island, as I mentioned earlier, this big platform. Oh my gosh, do they get there in style. I absolutely love the designs for their like final battle outfit, and it comes together so well. Like, I was actually shocked, and then I was like, oh my gosh, the drip, let me look at the drip, what? And the attitude, oh my, they came there like, we're not having a repeat of last time. We're not losing the same battle twice. Somebody literally says that. Oh, it was so cool. It was amazing. But I'll put the image up on screen, but they basically matched the styles of a lot of the other pirates that Shiki was actually dining with and drinking the ceremonial sake because, his plan was coming together. And to see that not only did they dress for the theme of the event, they outdressed everybody in that room. That was incredible. Like, you could already tell they were going to win the fight just based on the way they dressed. But they all arrived with like these kind of old-timey looking guns and different variations of like rocket launchers and assault rifles and things like that. and they just like go to town and start just shooting up the place. Of course, you don't see anything like too graphic or gruesome, but you know, they won't be in the next Strong World movie. I'll say that. So we get to see Luffy's seriousness with like his aura going absolutely crazy and him using the third gear, I believe it is, multiple times. We get to see Zoro's demon aura, which I've never seen him master, really. I've seen like the beginnings of it, but to see him so confidently able to wield that attack and use it against Dr. Indigo, which I didn't even know he was going to end up fighting anyone. And I didn't know that Scarlet was going to end up fighting anyone either. And I was glad to see that Scarlet was incorporated in the final battles in some way against Sanji. But man, just the way that we were able to switch perspectives between each member and see their battle it worked so well. And part of me kind of wished that I could see like one perspective for an extended period of time. But after thinking about it, I'm like, no, like this is definitely the way to go. They're a team. I want to kind of see each member's contribution to this final battle. And the way that it was done was masterful. Just the sequences between each character. I don't think it could have been done any other way. That was really great. And after having this back and forth battle with Shiki over the period of like 20, 25 minutes maybe, we finally get to the breaking point where it's either Luffy's gonna lose or Shiki's gonna lose. So Luffy takes the power of lightning. He doesn't ride it. The lightning rides him. And he's able to harness it and use it to defeat Shiki. And just the animation in that part and the weight that you feel of like Luffy's huge leg just coming down on Shiki, that was unmatched. That was one of the best animation sequences in the movie, one of the best fight sequences, definitely one of like the highest emotional moments. It was a sight to behold, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Speaking of things being impactful, though, I completely forgot to mention this. I don't even know how, but Usopp has some of the most impactful performances in this movie, and I just really enjoyed his interactions between Straw Hats, between Shiki. It was just great. And the English VA, Sonny Strait, I think his best performance overall in this movie is when the Straw Hat crew gets encapsulated in that dirt structure. And Shiki is telling Nami, like, you can make this all stop. Just join my crew. And Usopp, with the very little consciousness that he has left, says, like, Nami, like, don't be stupid. You know this isn't what Luffy would want you to do. And just the way that he says it and the way that Sonny Strait's able to deliver those lines is, it gave me chills. It was really, really good. And you see that towards the end of the movie as well, where Usopp is handling himself really, like, as someone who got to see, I won't say cowardly Usopp, but not Usopp at his greatest, at his full potential, where he was still kind of playing a little bit of make-believe. To see him in this movie, I'm like, oh my gosh, Usopp grew so much, and I really, really need to get back to the show so I can see some of this growth, because what a guy he's shaped up to be. Him and Chopper, especially as a team, they're just great. But yeah, the ending battle with just big leg Luffy, I'll call it. That final attack was so cool, and just to see that he made it out in the end and was even able to work with Billy and coordinate a lot of attacks with Billy in this final battle, just puts the cherry on top of the cake. Or ice cream, I guess. You don't normally put cherries on top of cake. Y'all know what I mean. But that pretty much wraps up the movie. Although there are some interesting things happening in the credits. Stay till the end of the credits to see a scene. I won't talk about it here. You'll just have to see it in theaters. But it really wraps up the story very well. And you won't regret it. I'd like to give a huge thanks to Funimation and Toei Animation for giving me the ability to screen this movie early And once again, just get to learn more about the Straw Hats, which I'm glad I got the opportunity to, but also to be a part of this really cool event. So you guys, once again, the 1000th episode of One Piece will be airing November 20th on Funimation, and then you can check out the movie One Piece film Strong World November 7th, when it's going to be dubbed in theaters, and November 9th, when it will be subbed in theaters, select theaters in the US. But yeah, please, if you're a One Piece fan, you don't want to miss this. It was definitely a lot of fun, and it's going to be worth it no matter what. So enjoy it, enjoy your One Piece month, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed this review. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, so that way these videos can make their way into your inbox, take power away from that YouTube algorithm, and tell it, I want these videos in my inbox now. But yeah, once again, thank you to Funimation and Toei Animation, and as well as Geek Vibes Nation for helping coordinate to make sure that this was possible. I hope you all have a nice evening, warrior night. Warriors, enjoy it, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.